my soul. Well, you know it just
like fire in my bones.
Well, I feel it.
In my hand.
I said I feel it. I said I feel it.
Moving all over me.
Well, it picks me up when I'm down. You know it makes me smile when I frown. You know it soothes my doubts and it calms my fears. I feel the joy of the Lord down in my soul. Well, I got the joy of the Lord down in my soul. You know it's your light.
Like fire in my bones.
There's something like
Feel it in my hand. Feel it in my feet. Moving all over me.
Well, it picks me up when I'm down. You know it makes me smile when I'm frown. You know it soothes my doubts and it calms my fears. I feel the joy of the Lord down in my soul. Well, I got the joy of the Lord down in my soul. You know it just
like fire in my bones.
and I feel it.
Feel it in my hand.
I feel
Feel it in my feet.
I feel it.
Moving all over me.
Well, the Holy Ghost makes me glad. Well, I got sweet peace, oh yeah. Well, I got sweet peace since He set me free. I feel the joy of the Lord down in my soul. Well, I got the joy of the Lord down in my soul. You know it's just like
Like fire in my bones.
I feel it. I said I feel it.
Feel it in my feet.
I said I feel it.
Moving all over me.
Well, got the joy of the Lord
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I got the joy of the Lord
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I got the peace of God
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I got the joy of the Lord
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
It makes me happy
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
Let me want to clap my hands
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I got joy
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I got His peace
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
Well, I got the joy of the Lord down in my soul. You know it's just like
Just like fire in my bones.
I feel it.
Feel it in my
I
hand.
said I feel
Feel
it.
it in my feet.
I said I feel it.
Moving all over me.
Well, I got the joy of the Lord.
Down in my soul.
I got the joy of the Lord
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I got the peace of God
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
Make me want to praise Him
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
Make me want to clap my hands.
Down in my soul.
Make me want to pat my feet
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
Make me throw up my hands
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
I got joy.
Down in my soul.
I got that joy.
Down in my soul.
I got that joy
Down in my soul.
down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
Way, way down.
Down in my soul.
Way, way down.
Down in my soul.
I got it tonight.
Down in my soul.
Down in my soul.
This time we're going to change the order of service and turn it over to Sister Rose. Let's give her a hearty amen as she comes.
Whoa, it's good to be here tonight. The Lord is good, very good. I am so thankful for His blessings. Boy, God is something else. I can never, ever quite explain it, express it, because He gets better every day. Yeah, every day is sweeter with Jesus. I want to preach to you tonight. I went home to take a nap. I didn't take one. I had the computer on my bed and I was looking, happened to go to YouTube, and this man was on there cursing these preachers out. So I called him and I said, man, who is this man that's cursing these preachers out? He called them all kind of names, and I thought, who is he? So I told Monta to pull it up on his computer. He said, Mama, that's that comedian. I don't know, what's his name? John Oliver. That man talked about them preachers so bad. until I couldn't believe it. But his language was overwhelming. I thought, have they thought for 1 minute, and I'm preaching about the condition of the church tonight, have they thought about 1 minute what you're doing, how it affects ministry? We need to stop for a minute and say, I'm not getting ready to do anything that's going to bring negative comments about the gospel. So this one evangelist on there, and he said, I bought me a $65 million plane, and I paid cash. So the people in the audience was kind of looking at him like, and he said, you need to be happy for me, because let me tell you this. He said, I bought another one bigger than that costs more than that, cash. Well, you beat God's people out of enough money. You took them for a ride long enough. The language, it was phenomenal. I'm thinking, God, help us. And I thought about this message the Lord gave me last week, and I had been working on it off and on. And I get deeply concerned when I look into the Word and see the situation. I said, Lord, you need to meet them in the air with the planes. Because it's just beginning to be the biggest boast. This one's got his jet. He goes on to tell us, I bought a Lear jet, and this one bought that kind of jet. I said, God, meet them in the air. That your people might understand that this is not your doing. This is their doing. You don't have to have all them planes. You don't have to have one. I wouldn't even want. My son-in-law, ex-son-in-law used to say to me, because he was a pilot, said, Mama, I'll take you wherever you want to go. I said, baby, I'm not riding with you. You know what I said, I'd be pleading the blood, and you coming back telling me I don't know what's going to happen here. I said, no. Don't even concern yourself with flying me anywhere. I only fly with Jesus. If he's with me, that's why I fly. But I thought, no, I can just see a family member talking that stuff about, Mama, what we going to do? Really, I ain't the pilot. So I thought, no. But it's this fad about planes. Every day, look, this one's got a plane, that one's got a plane. It just keeps going around and around. I'm thinking, God, why can't they just get on a charter jet? You don't need a plane. What is this thing? Listen to this message tonight. He said, woe to them that are at ease in Zion. And I'm in the 6th chapter of Amos. Name of you, like you, Amos. And trust in the mountain of Samaria, which are named chief of the nations, to whom the home of Israel came. Pass ye unto Calneh, and see, and from this go ye to Hamath the great. Then go down to Goth of the Philistines. Be they better than these kingdoms, or their border greater than your border? Ye that put far away the evil day, and cause the seat of violence to come near. They lie upon beds of ivory, and stretch themselves upon their couches, and eat the lambs out of the flock, and the calves out of the midst of the stall. That chant to the sound of the viol, and invent to themselves instruments of music, like David. When I looked at this, you know where it took my mind back to? It took my mind to, where's he says this? He says, he tells them about their sin is like Sodom. The church is like Sodom. And that the way Sodom had become so wrapped up in the world's goods and doing these type things. And the church is like that today. It's about material things. It's about how much fat can you get. It's how much money can you get. And I looked at that and I said, God, help us to realize the importance of us not going out after these things. Listen what he says. He goes on to say, this is the same sin that Sodom had. Sodom wanted material things, money. They ate a lot of food and stuff and what have you. And all these things that they wanted. And the Bible says, but they became idle. The church is in a state of being idle today. Because once people get so much stuff, they just kind of want to lay back and take it easy. Taking it easy doesn't get you to the kingdom. So when I looked at that, I thought we have people of affluence that have great wealth. The preachers brag about it. They talk about it. What they got, they had on the internet today the 10 most richest preachers. Why is that important? Are they rich in the spiritual things of God? No. It's all about this world. Your sister Sodom, that was her sin. She wanted everything, and God had to bring it down. He's sending the same message to the church today. The sin of Sodom is taking over the church. It's becoming more and more idle as time goes on. Because the more they fatten themselves up and give themselves more things and plenty of this, and we got our jets, and we got our $5 million homes, and we got this, and they were just listing off the preachers with all this stuff. Number 10, number 9, number 8, number 7. That's went up the line. These are the richest preachers. Benny Hinn, they say, gets $200 million a year in his ministry. You start wondering, God, do anybody think for the moment what I do in ministry has either a positive or a negative effect? Can't afford it. I got to be sure that everything I do, before I would have a plane and bring reproach against the gospel, I catch a bus. It is not worth that. It's not worth that. No. The church is like the rich man. Every day they're trying to get rich. That's why they go over to these mega churches. The preachers are feeding them husk. The garbage of the world. That's what they're getting. No wonder they're messed up. They go over here and they think, well, if you got rich, maybe you'll show me how to get rich. What about being spiritually endowed? Spiritually rich? Not with the things of this life. Give me Jesus, more and more of him, and I don't care about all the rest. I really don't. Where is your treasure at? He said, have your treasures in heaven, where the moth and the rust does not break through and steal. Plant it up there. Their treasure's down here. Everything is wrapped around this. I remember when Tammy Faye Baker from PTL got ready to die, and she was being interviewed on Larry King, and Larry King said, so what do you think you'll miss the most? And she said, my things. I thought you were getting ready to go to hell and you're worried about things? I couldn't believe that was her biggest worry. My things, I will miss them. Well, in hell, you probably will, because they're not down there. But I think as never before, the church needs to come together. The few that's left that's doing it right, which is the remnant that's left. Yes. The rich man said what he said, I'm going to lay back, take my ease. And I won't, I'll just say to my soul, eat, drink, and be merry. So his treasure was here. Everything he had was here. But I'm looking at the fact that we got to deal with what's on the table, and that is, what is the word telling us to do? And we don't want to live our lives bringing reproach against the gospel. It's not important. Let's have what God blesses us with, and why are we so greedy for more and more and more? It's never enough. The prophet Isaiah said they're greedy dogs, loving to eat. They never have enough. They slumber. They're not serving God. When they should be up praying for you, they're calling hogs. I was up last night praying for people here in this church, asking God, please. I didn't sleep all night. I finally went to sleep about 5 this morning. I was saying, God, help the people. Help them to make it. Help the people to realize the seriousness of this. This is extremely serious. You can miss it if you want to, but you don't get a second chance. Do you not understand that if I leave this life and I don't have my life not right with God, honey, do you know you can't come back and fix it? It is what it is. Once you depart out of this life, you can't fix it. You got to answer. You got to answer. Every person in this church better not just look at a situation that's bad and push it over, because let me tell you, there's going to be another one. There's going to be another. Another one could be you. You got to look at your life and say, God, I don't want to be in that situation. And you don't have to be in that situation. It's a tragedy. Every person should be stirred in their soul about what we recently experienced in this church. Every person. Everybody wants to be in with Hollywood, be on the red carpet, party with them. And they showed Jake's on there again, but this has been happening a while back. And there's Tyler Perry, who's a homemonger. He's got a woman he ain't married to. He got a baby by her, but he comes there and lay hands on you, and you laid back. I'm thinking, God, this thing is bad. It's awful. You think about it, think you up in the church doing all this stuff, and this man, you ain't saved and he ain't saved. We better deal with what's in front of us, not excuse it away, not make excuses for it. It is against the kingdom of God. Yes. No. God help us. Deep inside, I am alarmed. I'm thinking, you're going to leave all this stuff. This is considered junk. The best of the best is junk. And you're that caught up in it. Every bit of it is going to be left in this world. You ain't taking none of it with you. Solomon said you don't know if a wise man or a fool going to get it after you're gone. Think for a minute. People, don't get into a place of slumber. Spiritually sleep. Moving nowhere. You can't hear from God. Can't feel God. Everything's a mess. Don't go there. Listen to what it says. This is the church. There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, and the rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. And Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from there to me cannot, neither can you pass to us. We can't come to each other. There's a big barrier. Some woman that had a vision of hell said she saw and the barrier that was there, and you couldn't cross that. Heaven's over there, hell's over here, and you can't get past it. You said, Sister Rose, you talk about hell a lot because people are not taking it serious. They're not taking it serious. This is serious business. I am alarmed when we can look at what we saw this week, and you still sit on the pew with issues. How do you still have issues? I wouldn't have another issue, and I wouldn't have to see that. I just know the word is what it is, and I can't do it. No, I can't do it. But now you want him to leave heaven for you. He said, remember in your lifetime you had all the good things. You want Lazarus to leave heaven and come to hell and cool your nasty tongue. choke, buddy. Choke off of it. No, he's not coming to you. Well, could he go back and warn my brothers? I have 5 brothers. I don't want them to come here. Could he go back and warn them? I said, oh, no. They're so hard-hearted. Until if Lazarus went back, they would say he wasn't dead. Though one come from the dead, they still wouldn't believe him. That's a hard heart. He said, let them believe that. Let them listen to the prophets and the teachers back there. No. Lazarus not leaving heaven to go back and tell your sinful brothers. In the first place, they ain't getting ready to serve God. And they'll say, oh, he was never dead. They just thought he was dead. That's what they would say. He wasn't dead. He come back talking this stuff. He was just out of it. Man is in a bad shape. He's so messed up. He's so far from God. Come as close to him as you possibly can. Make your life count. Every minute, second of the day, make it count. Because tomorrow's not promised to you. You may not be here tomorrow. Listen to what you're told. Say, I'm going to follow this. I'm going to do what I'm told to do. You tell people and they keep on doing the same thing. Same thing. You keep warning. Keep warning. I done told Ashton and what's his name? Dustin. You don't serve God every now and then. If you die, you're lost. I come to church, you don't see me for 3 or 4 more Sundays, but here I come in again. It's not happening. It's not working. I look at that and I think, wow, if I had got word that you were dead, I think, oh my God. Because there's no Christian, there's no power. There's no God. I just go every now and then. Want to miss it, don't matter. No, God's looking for faithful people. People that are faithful. That's coming to his house, not sometime, all the time. People are not afraid anymore. The devil somehow has made people feel like hell is not really, it's not, it's kind of a fantasy. Oh, no, it's not. You believe hell is a fantasy, you ain't read this book. It's not a fantasy, it's for real. He's always merciful with man. He's always merciful. And you know what? No matter how many times he shows mercy, man still won't get it together. And he's always looking for more mercy. When do you stop looking for mercy and start living right? That's not difficult. Listen, the idleness is taking over the church. You know, people that sit idle is bound to get in trouble. You need to be busy in prayer, in the word, seeking God. Because when you sit back idle, you ever been just sitting there? What's your man on? Well, I don't know. After a while, you get up and get into something. You get into mischief. I sat there, and after a while, the devil tell you, you need sex. If you was busy, you wouldn't have time to think about it. Well, it's the truth. Because that's where my mind is. Well, the devil says, all I need to do is let you be idle and ain't thinking about nothing. I'll put something in there. So you ought to do this. You ought to do that. That's who he is. But if I'm busy, if my mind is stayed on him, he will keep me in perfect peace. Whose mind is stayed on him. You're just sitting around thinking about nothing. Always thinking. Quit thinking. The devil's doing a job on you. See? You have to understand. Listen. It says, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stand afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Listen. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. He's talking about, okay, here's a situation. This is the fall of Babylon. Babylon is the modern day church. Messed up. And we're so caught up with things. We can't even be true to God because we're so caught up with ourselves. Trying to have what we want, when we want it. Help us, God. Help us. Cause your people to see. Open up their understanding. Understand this. Riches, there's many perils, many dangers in riches. Some people serve God good when they only had a bologna sandwich and some cheese. They serve God good. Give them a few steaks sometime. Give them 3 or 4 change of clothes instead of 1. We're so quick to forget God. He told Israel, least when you go to that land and become fat with this world's goods, least you forget God. And that's what these preachers have done, and they have forgot God. He's not at the top of their list anymore. He don't exist. See? He said, when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, that then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. You've been poor as a house mouse, and God bless you with a few little things, and all of a sudden you're just so big and so arrogant and so lifted up, and think you all of that. It's a sick thing. Trust not in oppression. Become not vain in robbery. If riches increase, don't set your heart on it. If God blesses you, don't set your heart on it. Keep going. Thank you, God. Go to pray. My neighbor lives on the corner. He's Catholic, and I passed one Sunday. I said, you want to go to church? No, I already been to church. I thought, you ain't been to church. You went to the Catholic church? You haven't been to church. What are you doing in there unloading on the priest? He needs to unload on somebody. How is that? And I looked at him, I thought, what a fool you are. Listen. A faithful man, he says, shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent, because they'll do anything for it. I was thinking about William this evening, and I shared some thoughts with my family. What I told the Lord I was going to do. Boy, if he don't pass this, boy, he's going to hate himself. I can't tell you because he can't know. He can't know. If you pass this test, you'll never be bound again. The thing that God will do in your behalf was mind-boggling. What did he tell Abraham? Go offer up thy son, thy only son. After 25 years it took God to give him one, now he's saying offer him up as a sacrifice. Abraham didn't question, he didn't wonder about it. God asked him for everything. And he just got up and started moving toward what God told him to do, and that is, offer your son up to me. He just said, God, well, how is that? Well, did you just give me my son? It took you 25 years to do it. Now you're telling me to offer him up? He loved God more than he loved his son. That's what you got to do. You got to love God more than you love your wife, more than you love your husband, more than you love your children. If we don't love God, number one, we'll never make it. We'll never make it. He left other people behind because, don't take the wrong people. I got a message I'm going to preach on. Be careful who you go to war with. He left them back there. Crossed Jordan, went on over. Little boy looks up at his daddy and said, Daddy, I see the fire, I see the wood, but where is the sacrifice? He says, son, God will provide himself a ram in the bush. He will give us a sacrifice. He goes on to fix the fire and put the wood on and everything. Little boy, look at you, imagine little boy looking at your daddy, what's going on? Don't worry, son. Laid him up on the altar. Draw his hand back to kill him. And God says, stay your hand, Abraham. Now I know that you love me more than your son, your only son. You love me more than that. That's what he's looking for. You don't make it with God when you love anything more than you love God. Everything else has to take the back seat. And I am so concerned when I see people, when they're so wrapped up in things and people and family and friends and my career and all this stuff. Talk is the cheapest thing you can do. Anybody can talk. To put things in action make the difference. Not by the stuff you say. Listen. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, verily I say unto you that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. But then he goes on further to talk about the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches. A lot of deceit is in riches. And the lust of other things entering in choke the word, and it becometh unfruitful. So you got all this worldly stuff getting in you, and you become unfruitful. You can't produce. You can't have a spiritual walk with God because all this other crap has got you filled up. Listen. So you become barren. You can't produce. It subjects men to temptation. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Because they're so involved in the riches. They fall into temptation. I listened to this preacher, Jakes was on there saying, God wants to do pillow talk. Pillow talk does not fit him. That's what lovers do. Pillow talk. And then he dropped his voice, tell you how far off he is. He drops his voice and said, just listen to what I'm telling you. That's for the women. If you can't see through that, I thought, hey boy, just take a seat. I don't believe this. I'm alarmed. You think somebody should be attracted to that voice, and there's a bunch of whores out there that will? Did you hear that voice? He comes on there talking about God and pillow talk. I thought you put things together that shouldn't be connected. Pillow talk is not connected with God. If you know anything about it, that's not it. That's not the way we communicate with God, pillow talk. But that's where he's at. No doubt Horace is making him feel good. He's doing his own line of clothes now. They calling him, what's the name of it? Who was that? Cliff, was it you who told me the name? They call him what? Dip. And he's standing back like this. I think, are you kidding me? Dip. You're modeling fat folks' clothes? Why would I want them? First thing I think, I got to look like you to wear those. And there he sat. And they said, Bishop, you know you cool. We're not cool. We're on fire for the kingdom to teach the truth. No. Riches are uncertain. You can be rich today and not have a penny tomorrow. They fly away. Solomon said riches fly away. They're there today. You can wake up in the morning and don't have a penny. People invest their money in the stock market. You don't know when it's going down. And with the fella in the White House, it might do anything. Everything there may blow up because he makes uncertain moves. When you make uncertain moves, the world is so fragile. So if you make one little wrong move, things crumble on you. It don't take long. See? The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. For he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly as an eagle toward heaven. And I'm trying to understand why you're trying to hang on to it. Go ahead and do right by God and do the right thing and move on. The more you try to hold on to it, the more it wiggles right out your hand. And you're looking for where to go. You know, I had $100 yesterday, man. I don't know where that money is. Can't keep up with it. That's the way riches are. Say, wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? Riches are not nothing solid. You can't depend on it. See? For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation? They're not forever. Yea, I hated all my labor, Solomon said, which I had taken under the sun, because I should have it unto the man that shall be after me. He said, I hated it. Because somebody's going to get all this I worked for and labored for and gave my life for. Somebody going to get it. It's so sick. And we're so wrapped up in it, we can't make solid decisions because we're wrapped up in what we think we need today. I told William, I said, William, you know what? It's here today and gone today. You may wake up any day and everything you thought you had. You ain't far from a millionaire, but a few dollars, throw it all away. That's why I spend my life doing something good for somebody else, reaching out to other people, taking the money, making somebody else's life a bit better. Why is it all about you? But that was the spirit of Sodom. It was all about them. And the churches that way today, they show these few little clips come up there. We doing this in a foreign country. We feeding them, getting them some uniforms and doing all this. That's nothing compared to what you take in. And then they'll beg you to pay for it. It's unbelievable. Listen. Solomon said, I hated all my labor, which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me. He goes on to say, for we brought nothing into this world, and it's certain we can carry nothing out. That's why I'm trying to understand why you're in love with it. Temporarily. Paul said the things that we see are temporal. The things that we don't see are eternal. You better set your mind on the eternal things. Because eternal life is going to be worth it. To know you're in heaven with him forever, never have no more devil, no more issues, no more problems, no nothing. Living with him forever in heaven. And you're willing to sell that out, and the preachers are trying to show you where this is what it's all about. Don't buy it. Though he heap up silver as the dust, Job said, and prepare raiment as the clay. He may prepare it, but the just shall put it on. God said, I'll give it to the righteous. He said, and the innocent shall divide the silver. Surely every man walketh in a vain show. Surely they are disquieted in vain. He heapeth up riches, and knoweth not who shall gather them. For God giveth a man that is good in his sight, wisdom and knowledge and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail together, and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal it. Your gold and your silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as if it were fire. You have heaped treasure together for the last days. What good is it? What good is it? See, Moses said, I esteem the riches of God better than the riches of Egypt. He was in Pharaoh's house. He said, I esteem God higher than that. He left it. Didn't have a difficult time walking away from it because he esteemed Christ and the spiritual things of God as a greater thing. It's not for a moment, see. You know, I'll address people in this service. They'll sit here and hear it and do exactly the same thing. I can't tell you how many times I've said to Dustin and his wife. I can tell you the times. And they will repeat it every time. 3 or 4 times when I go in church. One of these days, you're going to have to meet God. One of these days, you're going to have to explain why he wasn't that important. One of these days, it ain't going to matter. It ain't going to matter. It really won't. I'm not hooked to anything. Just God. So it's not difficult. I'm in a good place. Are you in a good place? Ask yourself, am I in a good place? Or where am I at for the most part? Where are you at? My mind's on my family. God gave the families. He gave us the families. Hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, heirs of the kingdom, which he has promised to them that love him? Has God not chose the poor? Because the rich don't want God. They don't feel like they need him. So if I just had what he had, I don't want nothing nobody got but what God gave me. That's enough for me. I don't covet what you got. I'm not concerned about it. Sodom's sin revolved around abundance of wealth and idleness. And prosperous ease. All of that wealth and idleness only filled Sodom with pride. Eventually, God rained fire from heaven on them and completely destroyed the city, along with all of its inhabitants. With all your mess, all your junk, all your riches, he rained fire out on them. The more money people get and the richer they get, the more arrogant they become. They look down their nose at other people. Treat you like you don't matter. And you know what? It's all about the dollar. And you're around here thinking that these people really like you. Hi, Mr. So-and-so. Honey, it's all about the dollar. You get broke tomorrow, they say, well, what's his name? They don't even remember you. I remember one time, Daisy and I went to a store in Denver, a very exclusive store. And I just resented the fact that they tried to treat Daisy like she wasn't important. And, oh, Rose, 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 Rose. And I said, this is my friend, Daisy. Oh, really? Hi. Rose, Rose. Don't get caught up in that garbage. It's about the dollar. They don't care about you. They'll forget your name tomorrow. Yes. I thought you were going to acknowledge my friend. It's act like she's not important. She's important to me. Just keep on talking all around. I went down to Dallas one time to this store, and called the manager, said, Rose is coming. And tell Rose we're going to fix lunch for her here on the floor. I thought, I can go to Kentucky. I don't need you to fix me, Jack. You know what I mean? It's not even important. People get caught up in that crap. Well, Rose, when you get here, the manager wants to meet you and talk to you. Really? And here they come with this big rack of clothes. I wasn't buying all them clothes. Big rack of Rose, take a seat. They're bringing your lunch in a minute. I thought, you crazy rich people are stupid. This doesn't even make sense. Why are you all over somebody? I said, it's not important. But after Charles died, I bought me a very expensive watch. a diamond watch. They were supposed to send me the watch. So I went back home. I didn't want to carry it because I need to insure it. And I went back home. They called me and said, Rose, did you get your watch? And I said, no, I didn't get it yet. Well, let us look into that. Why you haven't got that watch? She said, Rose, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put somebody on the next plane to bring that to you. I said, that's not necessary. My kids say, let them fly, Mama, let them fly. I said, no, I'm not doing it. I said, no, that's not necessary. Well, we want you to have it. I said, it's fine. I don't need somebody to get on a plane and bring me a watch. I started feeling real stupid. Like, why is all this hype over it? Because if you get around me long enough, I'm just your basic person. Basic person. The Lord let you touch of this stuff. And let's see what it's all about. And it's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. I am alarmed how people are caught up, and the preachers have sold their soul for it, for the prestige, for all this crap. It's just over the top, a bunch of stuff. And I'm thinking, and there's Jake sitting there while Oprah Winfrey, the whore of Hollywood, is sitting around talking about, Bishop, I just want to make you blush. It's not going to look any different. That's ugly with a blush or without one. It ain't going to change nothing. And he's just sitting back, Oprah. I thought, are you kidding me? He's so eating his slop up, and she's telling him all this stuff. I thought, have you told her yet that Bishop J, she going to hell if she don't marry that man and get saved? No, he's not about to do that because that's a friend of his. He talked for years about how he'd like to be Oprah. Now, Oprah should have wanted to be you if you was right. No. I'm looking at this stuff on TV sometimes. I just think, God, you got to do something. They're bringing reproach on the gospel. They're so wrapped up in everything that's not right. They live in pride, wealth, and abundance of idleness, which gives them ease. We don't have to work hard anymore. We spend all of our life working and building this stuff. That's what that lady told me in Oklahoma. I used to be the person that they hired to take care of. She was an alcoholic. And boy, did they have the money. And the house was unbelievable. Her bedroom deck was high, overlooking the Olympic-sized swimming pool, and they owned half of Fort Sill Boulevard. And she was a miserable woman with her lips burnt like somebody stuck a hot poke to it just from drinking alcohol. And I went in one morning, come up here, Rose! I mean, some days I didn't feel like being bothered with her. I went upstairs, I said, Miss Roach, how are you? Rose, I'm unhappy. I said, well, have you ever thought about giving your life to God? Rose, don't start talking like a fool. I said, well, you shouldn't be happy. You shouldn't be. Hiding beer, the six-pack of beer, she would drink every bit of that beer and and them cans never came out of the loops. That was her way of concealing it. So you go in the hamper, there's a six-pack in there, look like it's all sealed up. She done opened up long enough to drink all of them and put them back down there real neat. And they told me to try to see if I could make her eat. Take her out for lunch, Rose. Try to see if you could get her to eat. And I said, Miss Rose, you want to go to lunch? No, Rose, no. She never ate. Just drink, drink, drink. Money, money, money. And was a miserable soul. And you ain't telling me nothing. These preachers with all this that they got, it brings all kind of troubles. Riches bring all kind of trouble. And you say, well, I'd like to be able to have some of that trouble. I don't think you want to. I don't think you want to. So when you look at this situation, you think, okay, how are we going to teach the people about God if that's where your desire and your mind is set on the things of this world and nothing else really matters? That's all that counts. People, let me tell you something. If you became a millionaire overnight, it would not give you happiness. Look at the people that take their lives with money. Shoot themselves in the head, overdose on drugs. It's not making them happy. These preachers ain't happy either. It's no different than with them, but they'd rather have it for the prestige, for being treated with this. There he is over at Tyler Perry's house partying with the whores and homongers. I'm thinking, what are you doing there? Hiding out, getting out of the limousine like this. I thought God got you, buddy. Right here. And then church people go there, and he'll say, God told me to tell you this. God is not talking to this man. No more would he be talking with me if my love is for anything else but him. No, it's not happening. Think for a minute. Quit going after the preachers that's got all this stuff. They ain't going to give you none. You rest assured you're getting nothing. You're getting nothing while he makes a boast about how everybody wants to be friends with Bishop. Everybody want me to help them to get ahead. You don't need him. Because he stooped, he sold out. Gave up everything. Gave God up for everything. Think about it. You become too easy when you got everything at your fingertips and miserable, sitting around fat and ugly. Ain't moving, just sitting and eating. That's what ease is, laid back. We don't really have to work hard anymore. John and I, we spent our lives. That's what Miss Roach said. Rose, you know, we spent 15 years building this. Why are you so miserable? Why are you so unhappy? People, don't give up God for the things of this world. Don't hook up with a preacher if that's where his heart is. You got the wrong man or the wrong woman. Don't do it. Don't do it. See? You can have everything that God wants to give you, and you don't have to bow to the devil to get it. You got to serve the devil to get it. A man back at home in St. Louis, my grandmother and them told me the story. He said he told the devil, if you'll make me one of the wisest men here in this city, I'll serve you for the rest of my life. What a disaster. And the devil did it. He gave him wisdom, because the devil has wisdom, not God's wisdom, but the devil's wisdom. Made this man so smart, people called on him from everywhere. But the day came to collect. And they say they went to that man's apartment. The devil came in to collect from him, because I gave you what you wanted, and it's my day to get you. And he went in there, and they say when they opened that door, that apartment was destroyed from him fighting the demons that came to take him. Tore up the apartment. And there he is dead, because the devil's going to come to collect. He's going to collect on these preachers. He's going to come. The judgment of God is going to come to these preachers for what you're doing to the people of God. People out there that's listening to this, I mean, we're on YouTube all the time, and people go out there and listen and what have you. I hope you hear this message and say, you know what? Sister Rose is telling the truth. Quit becoming a slave to these preachers. You just love God and follow him. And if he ain't following Christ, don't follow him. That's what the word says. He said, their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. God said, I'm going to get rid of them in a hurry. I truly believe in the near future that we are going to hear more and more about these preachers coming down and being judged And God bringing judgment on these people because that's the only thing that's going to stop them. Otherwise, they'll continue to go from bad to worse. God has to bring them down. You set your mind on God, not on things. Not I wish I had what you had. It ain't important. It's not important. Don't spend your life on that. And if you had it, you wouldn't be happy anyway. See? The iniquity of thy sister Sodom was pride, fullness of bread, abundance of idleness was in her daughters. Neither did she strengthen the hand of the poor and the needy. They wouldn't even help those people that needed something. Got all that money and won't help nobody with it. We do more for people than any rich person. They're not doing it. If you find somebody idle, you will find them getting into trouble. Every time. Listen to this. The idle lips is the devil's mouthpiece. When a person have nothing to do, you are more likely to get in trouble. He uses your mouth for idle people that's doing it. The church is at ease. They got a lot of everything of this world. They don't have God. Anytime you're alone for any length of time and your mind's not on God, you're going to get busy into trouble. Every time. Idle mind is the devil's playground. What you thinking? After a while, they get up and act on it. They into stuff. It's something going through their head. Again and again. Some whore they done spotted, some whoremonger. It's going through their mind. After a while, they get up and go, "Hey, Jenny. Hey, it's Bob. Just sitting here thinking about you this morning. Yeah. Want to get together? Yeah. Where we gonna meet at? Not far from here. We don't want to be seen. These preachers are having sexual flings and trying to keep it covered, and it's everywhere. It's everywhere. The church reminds you of a car that's idling and running, but not moving or spending time doing anything. But they ain't doing nothing. I'd rather have a church with 10 people that want to serve God than to have a packed out house with a bunch of liars and cheats. It's not worth it. Stop yourself from being idle. Get up, go pray, go read the word. See, can't go wrong. Gotta ask yourself, what's my treasure? Sometimes it's women, sometimes it's men. Don't ever make a woman your treasure. You're a fool. A woman will play you like a fiddle. Cause, you know why? Because women study men, men study nothing. Men got one thing, let's go to bed. They don't know what they get into bed with or nothing. A woman sets you up. Solomon said many strong men have been brought down by her. And most of the men ain't strong. So you know they don't stand a chance. See? Stop for a minute and say, you know what? I'm not going to get involved with this or with that. And they get involved for the moment, and you think you had a great time, except it comes back to destroy your life. It ain't worth it. Preachers do it everywhere. I'm telling you, I get these magazines, supposed to be Christian magazine. It's always some preacher with an affair. This one man, he had so many affairs, preacher at a mega church in Texas. He said he just got up and told him that I'm gonna go ahead and walk out. Because really, this gospel I'm preaching, I don't believe in it no way. One woman after another one. This churches is full of it. Everywhere. Choirs, deacon board, any position in the church. They're meeting each other. Watching. And and you got them dumb enough. I'll see you in a little bit. It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. Tonight, I hope that you pray as well as I pray, that the preachers that are causing the gospel to be a reproach brought against it, that we ask God to tear it down. Tear it down. How important is that? Musicians and singers, come on. Yes. The church is ruined. It's ruined. They've fallen in the gutter. They don't care. Which gives a lot of more responsibility to preachers that's doing it the way I'm doing it. But I don't mind that. I don't mind it. Think about it. Stay in a church where you can get the word, where you can be told the truth, and keep you on the right path. You don't have to go down that wrong path. You don't have to. Do it right. I'm so thankful to God as a pastor, as a minister. I don't have one thing that anybody can say, honey, Sister Rose was tripping. You can't trip me on Jack. Yeah. I'm beyond that stuff. They around here, you need a virtuous woman. You're looking for a woman, get a virtuous woman. Not a whore. Say, I married her. Where did you meet her at? In the club. She's a hoe. Get you a virtuous woman. That's right. A good woman. Solomon said her price is far above rubies. I mean, she's of more value than anything. We always marrying whores and expecting to get wives. That don't work. You say, well, when did y'all get together? Oh, at a party the other night. A virtuous woman is a good woman. Are there many of them? No. But there's still some. You want somebody good and clean and wholesome, that know how to do things right, make you a good wife, a good companion, somebody you can go overseas and come back and she's still waiting on you. Not when she shut the door and put you on the plane, she said, see you, baby. No. Stand to your feet.
There is peace at the foot of the cross. There is peace at the foot of the cross. Oh, you just lay down your burdens, lay down your way, lay down everything at the foot of the cross. Oh, yes. There is joy at the foot of the cross. Oh, yes, there is. There is joy at the foot of the cross. Oh,